I'm pleased to see you all at the 6th International Accountants Conference. Ever-shrinking world. As professionals,
you can be imitated, but you cannot be duplicated.
Proactive and help us shape the future of our chosen profession. I understand that the protocol is just for the president to come to the podium, followed by the registrar and the council members. Okay, I stand corrected. Thank you so much, and a round of applause for myself. Please keep clapping until we got to get to the podium.
I do know that we might have some questions burning in our hearts about the Institute, about certain things we may have heard here or things that we need clarification on. So I would probably ask the President to say one or two things before we begin to take questions from the floor, sir.
To raise the question or observation, or you just thank us for what we are doing. So we take the questions, observations.
We'll leave that mic here for
yes,
you to answer.
questions, observations, and of course, you know the annual accountants conference is just next week. We'll go from here to Abuja and.
Salisu Saad from Abuja and District Society. I want to bring to the notice of the President that we sent in a petition from one of the cooperative society that was incorporated in Abuja about 3 years back. We sent a petition last year, December, to be precise, and we did not hear from the panel, and the immediate past President came to Abuja around, I think, February this year, which will also lodge a complaint. I'm sure the registrar will be aware then. And up to now, we did not hear from the panel. They sent a mail to us around April, which we responded. Every last week, I sent a reminder to one of the committee members, I think he's legal. Let me get her name. Christiana is a deputy director legal. So the issue is that there is this burning issue from the members that what is really going on with ICANN. We sent in a petition almost 1 year and we did not hear about it. And I'm one of the leading petitioners. I signed it also in conjunction with about 23 members initially. Even one of the council members is a member of that cooperative, one of the council members from Abuja region. So what I'm saying is that this petition has been lingering since last year, and a lot of our members are even agitating that, if ICANN national body is not taking it serious, maybe they'll go to Berkete family in Abuja, they'll go to ICBC. No, this is really serious. But I felt that since we started this agitation and we have sent a petition to headquarters, so we don't need to go any further issue again. So I want to intimate the president now. This is what is going on in Abuja. So let him intervene for the committee to come up, maybe call some members so that at least the members of Abuja will see that the national headquarters is doing something about it. Not that the thing will go out of hand. Our member will be petitioning ICPC, EFCC, going to radio, making noise. Before you know it, this media and political storm that we have in Nigeria, they can even be taking news story. Members has petitioned ICAN, or maybe ICAN president is into cooperative issue because they want to sell news. So let the president intervene, please. Thank you.
Okay, I answer the question. Luckily, I'm just president for 3 months.
Thank you, Salisu, for bringing up that here, but I don't think we can discuss it in full details here because it's something that borders on investigation. And the president is the chairman of the tribunal. He cannot be involved in investigative matter that is under investigation, because if it's being brought to the tribunal where it's going to preside over, it might be a miscarriage of justice. So you will excuse that the president cannot discuss it. Even council members cannot discuss issues. That is our disciplinary process, to give fair hearing to our members. When an issue is brought before them, I, as the registrar, will refer them to the appropriate, and we have a panel. The panel will investigate the matter, and if the person is found culpable, then they will refer to the tribunal. Unfortunately, the president that sits on that tribunal cannot be part of that, so that he will not be the one investigating and also sitting in judgment. So you will excuse that from that. But I know that even I think on Thursday or Friday, I was with the head of legal, and one of the things she was working on was that matter. It's been given attention. I think when we get back, we'll deal with it most appropriately. But that's not to discourage you to say, the process of investigating matter is not as simple as you call somebody, this is the accusation, and he confesses, and that's the end of the matter. There is a lot of things that have been going on and it's been discussed, but I can't really say the details here to everybody. Otherwise, you know what it is in legal matters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And when we go back, have you told him that it wouldn't be in the month of September, we'll do our annual conference, finish, before we start looking at any matter. Yes, we are focusing on the annual conference. It's an ongoing thing. So nothing stops you, but I won't let you. But anyway, you've had him. That's the point. Maybe if you meet him, they're looking into it. The next question, observation, the next person should thank me.
1, 2, 2, 4. Thank you very much, Mr. President, for all you do for ICAN and all the districts. Yeah, I just want to observe on the new date for the ICAN conference. I'm suspecting that since this one is happening in September, it's probably going to continue like that in the month of September. And I was wondering if the Institute is aware that for some of us, especially in the US, the month of September through the 15th of September carries some kind of filing tax deadlines. And in view of that, for some that may want to attend the conference, we may not be able to do that. So maybe it's something that the Institute can help us look into so as to allow us to participate. Thank you very much.
And when we went to Abuja for negotiations, we found out that government and Economic Council, Economic Summit is taking place within that same week, and most of the organizations, particularly government offices, we are going to, that we expect that they will be there, will go to the other one. So it made us shift the date back. I don't think it will repeat itself, and we're sorry for members of the profession who are in the United States who it might affect. But that's not that you are going to file returns. It's not conclude, yes, it's not try to find how you file the tax earlier or you delay it a little, come late and pay the fine.
My name is Bob Osagai. My account number is 3424. Sorry? Okay. I just want to talk about our profession and the relevance to government policies. Way back in the 60s and when ICANN started and 70s right up to maybe about the 80s, the Institute was well respected in Nigeria. And for various economic policies, our members played very strategic roles. Comments, suggestions, and views, and in fact, a number of our senior members were inducted and co-opted into government agencies. In the last few years, we have seen ICANN's role being, I don't know if it's eroded. The president mentioned the Nigerian Economic Summit Group. That started, I think, barely 20 years ago, maybe less. They have made themselves so very relevant in Nigeria today. The Nigerian Bar Association, anytime they have the annual conference, they come out with, some strategic issues and advise government. I do know that ICANN also, when we have our annual conference, will come up with some policy decisions. But we're not as punchy, we're not as relevant. I don't know what can happen. I don't know what is to be done. I mean, I'm taking the opportunity of having council members here to see if they can reinvigorate the institute such that anytime somebody of ICANN speaks or makes a suggestion, the government will listen. There have been a number of topical things in the country in the last few years. EFCC started, ICPC. These are things that ICANN as an institute should have serious inputs, should even have perhaps our members represented as of right. Some of these regulatory bodies that impact on the society. But I think, I don't know, this is an opportunity for some of us to at least address these issues, and I think I want to pass it on to the President in Council and the council members.
You are not very correct. Oh, the mic is here. You are not very correct to say that we are not involved. We are being involved. Maybe, past years, there were fewer people. Even the institute, we have fewer people, and now we are growing. Many of us in America, So, will you come to America to take somebody? Many of us are in Nigeria. They consult the institute. We send them. Before this budget, we contribute to the budget. If you mean calling you to be the minister of this, minister of that, that's politics, And I don't know if accountants know how to be politicians, to be good politicians. But what you said is correct. I myself, I wish that when I finish, they appoint me a minister. So why should I not be interested in what you have said? For that, I will agree with you. But John, do you have anything to add? Is the institute docile, or the institute is working hard? Some other council members will contribute. Do you have anything to say? You are the registrar.
Well, we understand what you are saying, but like the president has said, times have changed, times have moved on, and unfortunately, accountants are not in a natural way of doing things and not people who are noisemaker. I spoke with the president of the Nigeria Bar Association just about a week ago when Dr. Etofulam introduced him to me. And he said, look, we should be doing things together, you know, that, we are noisemakers. So, but we should collaborate because he came to us for help on how to establish certain things put some things right in the MBA. And everybody realized that ICANN has a good structure. So every time, instead of bankers, instead of taxation, every time they are copying from us and so on. But what we don't do is to make this noise, and that is just the natural way the accountant behaves. And he said, look, if we collaborate, we will make the noise, but you will be with us. I said, yes. Because if we start to make noise like MBA, it will be like putting square pegs in round holes. We have a committee called the IGRC, Intergovernmental Relations Committee, which is made up of a lot of our members that are in the public space, either as ministers or in the government, both in states and everywhere, those who are in directors and so on. We've selected some of these people to see how we can interact with the government more. And the president will be arriving in Abuja on the 2nd of September, God willing. And on the 3rd is to meet with the Speaker of the House of the House in the National Assembly, that's Bajabi Amila. So we are doing our own, there. It might not have been as visible. And if we are not doing good, nobody will want to copy us. And that is part of the challenge we are having. So we're beginning to interact more and more. We are talking to almost all the government arms. But what I would say is that we are not noisemakers. Maybe we become more visible as some of these things begin to become more concrete. Thank you.
You want to speak?
Let me just say something. My name is Dr. Etofulam Osiri, membership number 2342. I have noticed, and if you remember, you participated in this program today, and some days ago now, there's been a very serious paradigm shift. The younger ones are more into it than we, the grey-haired ones. I have a mobile smartphone. I don't think I've used up to 8% of what it's capable of doing. And the young ones, they do so many things with this, you begin to wonder, is it actually my own? Are you understanding me? Yeah. Now, there is the need to have the younger ones show your presence in the institute and in the matters appertaining to the institute. You have district societies, be very vibrant. You have committees, be very vibrant. Unfortunately, I said unfortunately, the president has instituted something that is currently working for us. The clamor for being a committee member has now been brought down to wherever you are today. I can hold the IT committee meeting from Houston today, and all the members will key in this Zoom technology. We are learning how to use our left hand in our old age for people like us. But the young ones, it is the cake of, what do they call it, their cake. They deal with it every day. So please show your presence. It will not be good, the child is crying. The mother has a full-breasted milk. And then the child is sucking bulumbulu. Are you getting me? The resources are here. Capacity is here. Okay, you're just coming to your name. Now, the capacity is here. Knowledge is here. So, okay, you know what bulumbulu is? In Nigeria, we call it balloon. I mean, you call it balloon here. In Nigeria, we call it bulumbulu. So, please show your relevance to the institute. There's going to be a lot of dynamics. Things are going to change. Let us be prepared to have that change coming to ICANN to help us remain at the forefront. Competition is now fierce. I don't want to say much, but we need the younger ones. Those in the membership number 30,000 plus, 40,000 plus. Please bring your knowledge into bear in ICANN now. We want to welcome you. And over time, you will take over seamlessly. That's what I want to say. We want to engage you. We want you to come in and help us. Thank you so much.
The man who asked this question will not be satisfied with any of these answers. He will only be satisfied when he sees that 3 or 4 persons here, by the time we go back, have been appointed into one political post. But it doesn't work that way. I promise you that all you said, we are also worried, but it doesn't mean we are not doing anything. Your institute is very much recognized. And in fact, if you go to any government establishment, they will tell you ICANN is recognized. And they give us respect. Have I satisfied you? Yes. Thank you. Another question.
ICANN President and all the members of Council and all my colleagues. What I want to ask is, my name is Tunja Shokun. ICANN,
Half minute, sir.
Okay, my name is Tunja.
Don't mind them. Take 5 minutes, 20.
What I wanted to talk about is we've talked about a lot of stuff here. Particularly for me is the work and life balance. And I believe that the reason it probably doesn't happen in Nigeria is because it doesn't happen from the top. So if ICANN could encourage government to recognize that there's more productivity in staff, if such organizations allow their staff to walk away from their desks for at least an hour during the day, including the governor himself should be able to take time out. And because, you know, I was working away from Nigeria for some time, and then when I got to start working in Nigeria, it was a taboo for you to leave your desk to go to lunch. But because it was part of the way I work, I take time, I just clear my head, go away and come back and impose that the best way of working to get productivity out of people is to be able to allow some flexibility, walk away from the office, and reduce costs as well. Thank you.
So, maybe, sir, do you mind if I just get all the questions so you can...
No, one by one. This one, let us clear this one. We have had you, when we go back, we'll hold a meeting and decide whether...
Okay, hear me?
You have fast minute.
Oh, fine. Okay, quick question. Half a minute. Quick question. So we have heard it all of the technology disruptions, digital transformation, and how they impact the accounting profession. And I was kind of thinking, I want to get a thought about how comfortable are you that we as a professional association, we are prepared for this disruption, and what is the strategy that we have in place to make sure we are putting a professional association of the future to respond, to be prepared when the time comes. Do you have that moment where you feel worried that we might be in a very difficult situation in the future? And what is the strategy behind that?
I'm not worried for myself because I know I can catch up with it. But for the younger ones, they are doing very well. And I have no doubt that what we are saying here, we'll come to Nigeria, we'll say it also. You know, these lectures, you will see people in Nigeria who will talk about it. So everybody talks about it. But how ready are you? The facilities may not allow us to do it as fast as these people do it. So we'll get there. After all, we were using gramophone before. Who knew when gramophone disappeared and the TV came up? It's just a process. And as I said, everything changes and will continue to change except the law of change.
Okay. Mohammed Bapa, membership number 32118.
They do me up.
Mine is also a suggestion for ICANN, if ICANN can divest or outsource MCP training as it is practiced in other professional bodies like ACCA, PMI, ISACA and others, whereby ICANN need not to do the CP herself. It can register trainers, recognize trainers where when you attend this training you can report the CP yourself, and recognize so many other activities that a member can report himself he has done it as a CP.
Okay, I think we have some things. If you're overseas and you attend some courses and you get them to write that, or you have the evidence that you attended such course, it is the course that matters. The institute recognizes such courses, not only the one that we organize. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, like the president has said, it is not, ICANN runs its own, but you are allowed also to attend relevant courses. You only have to come back to the institute to get it appraised and accredited and for different activities. For instance, this is the US ICANN. Those who are members here will get accredited and be given their credit hours. So also some firms that have courses that they attend, not necessarily by ICANN, even overseas courses, they bring them their procedures for it. All you need to do is to reach out to our members' education and training department. There are some private people who even run courses, but they bring their courses to the institute, they are accredited and allocated credit hours, and they use them as selling points. So you are not restricted from running your own program, especially if you have a specialized program that people would like to buy into.
Okay, we take the last two questions. Who wants to go first?
Thank you. Thank you, the President and members of Council, ladies and gentlemen. My membership number, I'm H.A. Dominic. My membership number 13726. The President, I want to use this opportunity for the first time to ask about our membership protection. You know the type of course, you know the type of job we do, and in our establishment, most especially back home in Nigeria. I want to do everything possible to maintain the integrity that is expected of us at every situation. But we found out that there are some of our members who are following the later rules and procedures that have been negotiated by the institute, and at the end of the day, they are denied of their position. You see somebody acting as a director for many years, and at the end of the day, another person will come and take over. And you see someone, aspiring to be something, before you know it, is removed for no just cause. And how do we, what is the institute's action towards all this?
You are not specific. You are not specific. You are making general statements.
Yes.
Who has been overtaken by ANAN? Then the government prefers that person to be there. And sometimes you don't go to where it is politics.
I belong to the university.
Now you come.
Yes.
Yes.
For instance, I was the acting auditor for almost a year plus.
Okay.
And somebody who was the chief accountant of that was promoted and employed. Mm-hmm. So how do you look at that?
What is the policy of the university? Who is the vice chancellor? Who recommends somebody to be promoted? What of quota basis? All these things. I don't know. These are the things.
Tell them why and tell alternative. If it's not politics, I think that should not bring anything that will not make you get promoted. If it's not quota, or that somewhere along the line something has happened, there's no reason that somebody under you should be put over. Instead, that person will go somewhere else to become director. You stay in your own director. That's the way I see it, I know it. But we cannot be rigid, because you know that we have bosses that has to be carried along. But at the same time, you cannot compromise the rules. Please let us try and manage both so that we can get on in life. Thank you.
A second chance to express this. I have almost overcome this, and but just for the sake of future and for the other ones that are coming, because as a person I'm satisfied with what I am now today. I'm not worried. I was a chief accountant. I was a deputy, a chief accountant. You know, we did interview. I was first among equal, among all of them. And by the way, we have university is open. We have this course. I scored 84, 86. The second person scored 74, and I can't remember. To another person scored 72. I was brushed aside, and I was there. There was no reason. It was not on quota basis. Please, you need to know. It is good for us to study institutional behaviors, not necessarily on quota. You find out that there are people from one ethnic group. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of them principal officers, and just an ordinary auditor, and the person still brush aside, and the person still came from the same village and same something. So it's not a quota basis. We need to understand this. So please, you as our institute, because we hide under your protection, there is need for you. The membership committee in the institute can look into all these things, and it's not too expensive for them to do. Okay. I will stop here because of I don't know.
Yes, give them. You're already annoyed.
No, I'm not annoyed. I'm not annoyed.
Fine.
I'm satisfied.
Very good. If I'm you that the bypassed, I'll be very uncomfortable. I will not like it. Yeah. So that university took their decision, but know that there's politics.
And they are not guided by ICANN. You know, and you have all your processes and recourse. If you feel you are being cheated, you have recourse either through the union or to report whatever. There is nothing ICANN can do by saying, okay, I have had an examination and I came first, and the scores are all there. You bring it to ICANN, and ICANN will walk to the Vice Chancellor and say, why are you doing this? There's just nothing you can really do. You have to understand your own internal workings in that organization and follow the due process, because you can petition. The reason why you find one ethnic group occupying all the principal places is because they have maybe the political power. So who are you going to report to? Even if we report the Vice Chancellor, we go and it goes to Minister of Education or whoever, there is virtually nothing if the Minister of Education is favorably disposed to that Vice Chancellor. So that's why the President has told you that there are a lot of politics. Quota could be a reason why. It might not be your case, but I even know that even in Edo State, there is somebody who is the Accountant General and the other man is a director there, and they both are from the same tribe. They use that as an excuse not to make the other one the permanent secretary. You know, but because it's the tribe from where they come is a minority tribe. If it's the majority tribe, you have the Accountant General, you have the permanent secretary, you have all of them the same. That is the political angle you should look at it. Thank you.
Beyond what he is trying to explain, there's politics in government. And I think the earlier we know how to play it, the better. And I will also say too that we as chartered accountants, sometimes we are the enemies of ourselves. But for the honor, because I work for government and I see it play out. And what I have deliberately done in my office is that for those of us that are chartered accountants, I've taken them and I mentor them. So we need to also identify somebody who is speaking for us, whether we are there or we are not there. And so we need to also deliberately do this in our various offices. And for other organizations, because I've heard some people say that they were being denied a promotion and the annual person will get it. And some will say, oh, it's my boss and he's even a chartered accountant like myself who will deny me. So what I'm trying to say is that, you see, we should be our brother's keeper. As long as we belong to this profession, we should help to watch others back, you know, and help ourselves. And that is what is actually denying us of this placement, this opportunity. So if we belong to the same profession, it doesn't matter. We should deliberately, you know, fight for one another. And I think that is what is going on in government now. If you have any position, another person is there, they will prefer the Anna than the chartered accountants. And we who are chartered accountants, we deny ourselves those opportunities, and it should not be so. So I'm doing it in my office, and I want to also urge you and everyone to do the same thing, and it will help a long way. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ihadoga. I just want to chip in something from what she has said. Actually, I was in one of her districts and there was a complaint from a lady. Her boss was the chartered accountant. She's a chartered accountant, and her boss and herself don't pass the same route. It was that bad. I had to call the lady because she was a very tall person to please help mentor the younger one. Another problem we have as ICANN chartered accountants is this: we are extremely proud. And that to a very large extent affects us in our places of work. And my council member, Alaja, has said, you try to understand what is going on. Toby was also discussing with me, it's very important that you study your environment. You study what is going on, you know where you want to align. That would also help your career path. And then please let us drop that our toga so that we can get to where we are destined to get to. Thank you.
Yes. Mr. President, I want to start on the existing protocol. My name is Akinola Oladimeji, membership number 19009. The first one is on the issue of reciprocity. Sometimes I keep on wondering if accounting institute like that of Malaysia has a reciprocity agreement with Canadian and AICPA, and even South Africa, and you wonder where is ICANN in all this arrangement. So what is ICANN doing on that? I know you have a kind of arrangement with the public something in United Kingdom, and I think we don't have anything again with ICAEW, Institute of Chartered Accountants of England and Wales. But for CPA, AICPA and Canadian CDA, what is going on? Secondly, on the issue of special candidates, is there anything in pipeline again to restore the program? Because I'm trying to, I've been asking myself this question: what is ICANN got to lose by admitting people as a special candidate? That's the second question. And the third one, on the confinement of FCA to those people in diaspora, my understanding is that if you are in a public practice, you are, after your ACA, after 5 years, in public practice, 5 years. This public practice, what is the definition? We need to understand. Is it only those people that work with the accounting firm in Nigeria or elsewhere? Because we have such issues recently. So we need to define it. What is the definition of this public practice? Is it for those people only in the Nigerian accounting firm? Yes, those are the three questions I have for you, Mr. President.
No, there's a difference in terms of ACCA and the CPA. Their thinking is the same thing. It's not. We in this country, most states, you have to be resident. What stops ICANN from saying that if you have a foreign qualification, because now they have a registered accountant, nobody wants to hear that. That is a dead thing. I'm even surprised that ICANN brought that up. But when you, in this country, you'll be resident in most states before you'll be given your CPA. Not only that, the knowledge level in most states has risen before. Without a master's degree now, in a lot of states, you cannot even be a CPA. Yes, that's the way we are now. Then, moving further, in order to be a licensed CPA, you have to have worked. In most states that are going to grant you that CPA license. If I can put that in place, the issue of ACCA would not be a problem. Because most of those Nigerians we are trying to address, they live in Nigeria, that's what. But we are professionals. We should be higher than that. And I think my council will deal with me on that when all these facts are in. We'll make a proposal to council to make sure that that system is looked at, and that actually, I've told a lot of council members, because the points are there. By the time you put those things in place, no ACCA member will qualify for special candidate. Because what is denying us now in the US that we are unable to grow. Because most CPAs will be, after my master's degree, after working, how many hours, so many hours, do you want me to now come to and take another exam in Nigeria? That kind of thing. Then we lose out on those technical people that we need, especially in this changing environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the questions. I will take them from the first one, reciprocity. I must tell you that for the CPA Canada, we have, since 2017 or thereabouts, we have been to Ontario and we had a meeting with them. We have submitted some application, but unfortunately they said they have not been able to slot us in for their deliberation because they are still having some issues with their merger, the merger they did to form the CPA. However, they are saying that we should be looking towards 2020. So it's not right to say we are not doing anything about that. For the AICPA, I think this one had come much earlier. We've submitted, I think... you submitted it?
When I was head of PTC.
Okay, so we have submitted, but so far we have not had...
We got denied.
Yes, so that is part of the problem that we have. And then we have so many people that are even coming. SICA in South Africa has been writing to us that they want us to have reciprocity arrangements, but we have declined for now because of strategic reasons. And the reasons, the major reason is that most of the practicing firms, the big firms, have their headquarters in South Africa. And we perceive that the moment you allow them to come in, then they will now come and take over, because that is what they do. They send the head of, they send their partners to take over the practice in Nigeria. And so we have to look at it from that point and slow down that arrangement. We have an arrangement with CIMA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants of UK, where they will write one paper, and then they also have to write advanced auditing because they don't do audit. We have also arrangement with England and Wales now, where we have to demonstrate. What we need to do is to demonstrate our experience with them. If you have 5 years post-qualification, it's a bit thorny, and we are looking at it to perfect it so that we can guide our people appropriately. So a lot is being done all over to ensure that we have this arrangement. Now, coming to special candidates program, what Nat has spoken about is not correct, that we are not aware of what is happening in the US. After all of you are here, so, and we'll be interacting over several years, so we know what the issues are. But like you say, if we have applied to AICP and they decline, why should we?
They did not decline.
Okay.
AICP suspended reciprocity.
Okay, so they have suspended it.
When it's ready, when they are back, we can.
Yes, I think that is the, okay, we'll come to that because I don't have that. Well, I know that is on my deputy registrar's desk. Now, what I say here is standards to any of these professional bodies. In terms of the international papers, we have upscaled our syllabus and benchmarked them with all of them. And we did that with the help of England and Wales. So our syllabus has reached, especially in the general papers of accounting and all that, auditing and all of them. Now, so if you do not give us reciprocity, why should we give you reciprocity? Secondly, if our members come over here, I don't know what level of exemption you give. Nothing. So you have to take the exam. So even if you have had 20 years experience in Nigeria doing that, you come here, you still have to take your examination. And we are saying that if you want to belong to ICANN and you are from a foreign base, you take 3 papers at least. And those papers are business law. The environment, the law that you apply here, like you always say, is different from the one we apply. In fact, we are saying that from state to state, some of your laws are different. So we are saying that if you want to practice, become an ICANN member, then you should know about our laws. You should know about our public sector accounting, which is unique. Most international bodies do not do public sector accounting, but it's specialized, especially in Africa, because public sector plays a major role in the economy. Then you have to do advanced taxation, because again, taxation laws are different and it's basically law. So you have to do that. And that's what we try to do when we had a special candidates program, and we come here and try to talk to you over a 2-day period on these 3 or 4 subjects. The council is fully aware, have all the facts, and deliberated upon it, and then decided that this is the way to go at this time. I must tell you that when ICANN started, there was no distinction. CPA, ACCA, England and Wales, in fact, they listed all of them in the Act, and then you come together to form ICANN. And then you started having direct admission. Then at a point we stopped and said, no, you must take some papers. Then at the point we came up with the special candidates program, and now we say take exam. So from time to time, the council will review the situation, and if need be, they will take the necessary thing to safeguard that. So I think that explains that. It's not as if we are being ignored or we don't have the facts. The council is fully aware.
Yeah.
No, please let me finish. Okay. For conferment of fellowship, well, we talked about those who have 5 years experience. Okay. The 5 years experience is for those who are in practice, and it's in the law, it's in our act. Those who are in public practice. And for you to be in public practice, you don't have to just be an employee or a staff of an auditing firm. You have to hold a license to practice with the institute. It is when you get this license to practice and then you have spent 5 years, then you can now apply for for fellowship. If you work in PricewaterhouseCoopers for 8 years as a staff and you are not a partner, that means you do not hold a license, you are not qualified for it. It's as clear as that. Now, you have to wait for 10 years, which is what is applicable to every member. 10 years post induction, you are entitled to fellowship. 5 years if you have license to practice. So that means anybody who holds a license to practice will not serve less than 5 years, but you could serve less than 10 years and you can get your fellowship. And this license has to be with ICANN. It doesn't have to be that you are a CPA here and you have been practicing for so long, and then you just become an ICANN member tomorrow, and then you tell us you want to be a fellow. You must be, it's the membership of ICANN, not the membership of CPA. So we have a lot of fellows of ACCA who are just associate members of ICANN because they have qualified as ACCA before they joined ICANN. So I think that clears all of that.
Thank you so much, sir. Have they not just foreclosed on CPAs when you don't have an examination center in this country? Even the AICPA has centers outside of the US. Please, let's be clear. Until that center is established, special candidates program must go on for those that meet certain requirements. That is what professionals do. We don't just do a one-size-fits-all. We have to look at the facts. And what you said is true, and what ICANN is doing is true. Neither did AICP, they did not deny us. They just said that it wasn't only ICANN. At that time, they said that you didn't think so.
The letter.
You got the letter.
I was the one who wrote the dance.
I was the chair.
Yeah, you were the chair, but I wrote the letter.
Yeah. I'm moving now. It's all right. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
It's all semantics.
It's okay. Please, it's okay. I think we are all agreed. There's no, it's just information flow. We have not foreclosed the AICPA issue. As I speak right now, it's on the desk of my deputy, Registrar Technical Services. When we get back, we'll look at all the communications, and there's nothing like closed forever. If they closed it the other time or denied us last time, we will still go back. For the issue of examination center, I know your tower has been on this matter for a very long time. There are a lot of logistics reasons. For instance, we are in Houston now, and that's about 6 hours behind Nigeria time. And so if we are going to start an examination at 9 a.m. in Nigeria, what time will it be in Houston? These are some of the things, challenges which we are working on. We have a new examination. The examination committee has been looking at it. Actually, it was one of the issues raised in Canada, and we have we took it to the council on last Thursday, and council said they should go and look at it. We believe that once we get enough sophistication, then we'll be able to administer these examinations wherever in the world. And we are working towards it. I assure you that maybe in another couple of, maybe early next year, we'll be able to come up with something.
Okay. Please clap for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. And our time is fast spent. Otherwise, I'm sure the president would like to take more. So,
the part of the exam and the time difference between Nigeria and the rest of the world, I was just going to suggest that it is actually possible to, to assess that exam, given the same timing, 9 a.m. there, 9 a.m. here. Sometimes what the professional organization do here is they have like two versions, even in the same exam. The person sitting next to you is writing a version B, while the next person writes version A, and so on and so forth. So if we have that kind of system where, it's the same exam, but you have those versions.
We are working on it.
So we can actually implement that exam in the same time. Okay, exactly. So I just thought I'd bring that up, if that will add value to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Just 5 minutes.
Well, the PTC FCC has given me the task to be a rapporteur, for the whole conference. Unfortunately, I thought I was going to have about 30 minutes, but he told me I only have 5 minutes. So that would mean that we have to condense some of the things. Of course, we start the conference, engagements that we perform. Our president, the 55 president of ICANN, graciously, declared the conference open, and it was a very nice moment. Also, we did hear from the representative of the Consulate General, that intimated us about the roles of the consulate, and of course, they let us know that they are still there doing our businesses, and should we have any need, not to hesitate to consult with the consulate. I think the essential takeaway from the whole conference is the digital age in which we find ourselves as accountants. We have competing interests, competing tools, competing responsibilities, and competing services. And for us to be able to function effectively and stay relevant, we have to update ourselves, we have to attune ourselves to new technology, we have to attune ourselves to new environments so as to remain very relevant. Also, the takeaway here is that in as much as technology will replace some of the functions, or at least modify some of the functions that we do, once we keep up to date is a function of time, we stay relevant, and at the same time too, it opens new opportunities for us. The conference discussed about the tax strategies that are available to global economies to ensure economic growth, and we have very thought-provoking presentation with the chairman of the Lagos State Internal Revenue, who led that conversation. And also too, there was a contribution from the Federal Inland Revenue Service as well, with regards to the trend of tools and policies that are being deployed to increase revenue collection, at the same time to ensure that that keeps pace with the responsibility for economic growth. We had presentation relating to both general and emotional intelligence, which sometimes in our day-to-day functions, there tend to be more reliance on one area than the other. But in balance, we were reminded that for us to function effectively, we need to be mindful that emotional intelligence play a very big role in our decision-making and our leadership roles, both in terms of adding values to our clients, and to, even our staff and employee that work for us. And the issue of business controls and profitability were discussed, and quite a number of things were highlighted, were reminded of our operational controls and also other dynamic controls that exist, including internal audit, and how there could be a conflicting or overlapping roles between those controls. And essentially, the suggestion and the takeaway from those discussions is for us to try to create a balance, some kind of a working, value-added form of participation between all these control functions, so as to eliminate or at the least reduce the conflicts, to the various minimum, for the purpose of ensuring effective operations and engagement. And also too, very interestingly, we had a presentation from Mr. Julius about work-life balance and work-life integration. I thought that was very refreshing. Very ironic. I remember talking to one of my clients. I made a comment that I need to cut my lawn. And she asked me, she said, when was the last time they trimmed your lawn? I said, about 2 months ago. She looked at me, you need a life. I'm like, really? Since that day, I changed my appointment schedule as well, because when you make an appointment with a client, if they fail the appointment, they say, what happened? They say, I took my kids to soccer game. I took my kids to dance rehearsal. I'm like, that's okay. So but they expect to talk to you at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening. So from that time too, we make some changes to our appointment, except with just very few exceptions. So the takeaway we have from that conversation is that we should be very mindful that all work and no play make the accountants, not too happy people. So but we should envision, we should aspire, we should evolve to our maximum potential. And the other areas are just pretty much reinforcing the same things that we've heard, across the lectures. And of course, the last but not the least, we have very interesting interaction with the ICANN executive. That's a wonderful opportunity for us to share with the Institute what is on our minds. And the Institute has been very gracious enough to let us know that some of those things will be looked into. At this point, I just want to thank, on behalf of ICANN USA District Society, thank the ICANN President and members and council for all the support that we have received throughout the conference and beyond that, and also all our professional colleagues. We thank you for your patience. We thank you for coping with us through the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. A couple of announcements before we before we call on the ICANN President for his closing speech. So, sir, you.
Thank you very much. The 55th President, other council members present, the registrar, professional colleagues. The President would like to meet some of you after the meeting, after today's meeting. And those accepted are those from FRS, LRS. If you work in a private firm, that is Toby Abiola & Co., you are not, don't stay behind, okay? You can go to your room if you work with Toby Abiola & Co. Limited. If you have a practice firm, you can go to your room. But if you work in other organizations outside those ones I've mentioned, FRS, LRS, please wait behind for just 2 minutes. The President wants to meet with you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. And please, another thing, the survey for all the courses, please kindly complete those surveys because they are part of CPA requirements. And the post-conference survey will also be open tomorrow, so we want everyone to complete those. So I will call on the President for the closing.
District Society of ICANN. I'm addressing Kemi, who is my friend, the chairman and executive members of other district societies here present, our resource persons and guest speakers, professional colleagues, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The end of a thing is indeed better than its beginning. We started this conference on a high spirit, and I believe I am echoing the sentiments of all participants that it has been a very fruitful 2 days program. People there here. I commend the organizers for the well-planned 6th International Accountants Conference by USA and District Society of ICANN. I also express my appreciation to all delegates for contributing to the various discussions which made the conference interestingly robust. Undoubtedly, we have all been part of this success story. I implore us all to bring to bear the knowledge acquired on our jobs and in improving our service delivery to clients. Let me state that this conference has been a perfect mix of knowledge and fun. We were not only treated to the best form of intellectual dishes, but the aspect of the physical meals was also not deficient. The various size events equally added to the quality of the conference, and I'm sure tomorrow and next tomorrow is going to add value to what we have gained so far. The resource persons demonstrated to all of us that they are masters of the theme and the sub-themes of the conference. We could not have had it better somewhere else. I thank you all. I look forward to receiving the communique which my brother has given to us. That was good. Of this conference, and wish to lead in presenting the recommendations to the relevant stakeholders, including the Governing Council of our institute. Who is silent? Who is hungry? Who is hungry there? Upon all that food they gave you this afternoon. Yeah, sorry for the interjection. We would all meet in Abuja, Nigeria next week, August 9, 2019, at the 49th Annual Accountants Conference. It promises to be a conference with a difference. Oh, yes, September 9. Very good. I wanted to be sure you are listening. Yes. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it is my greatest honor and privilege to declare the 6th International Accountants Conference by USA and District Society of ICANN closed.
At this junction, may we all please rise while we take the valedictory song, and it's on page 34 of our brochure. Page 34 of the brochure.